COVID and this global pandemic exposed some of the weak links in the United States' healthcare infrastructure, but it also opened up an opportunity for leading experts in this particular field to apply for EB1A visa. Today's story is about how we won an EB1A case with no RFEs for a hospital manager to be able to get an EB1A to come into the US. Let me show you how. Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Zhang Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the legal problem was that this hospital manager wanted to apply for the EB1A category, the extraordinary ability category, to get him and his entire family, he has a lot of kids too, all green cards so that they come in. They don't want to do the EB5, it's too much money, etc., etc. Now, how do we do this? Well, he wanted to apply in the midst of this COVID pandemic. And one thing we know was that the hospital system in the US was completely fractured. There was not enough hospital beds, there was not enough nurses, there were so many things that was breaking down. Our client was not a doctor. We have other stories about doctors and how they solved the epidemic and how they came to the US to help solve COVID crisis. We'll do that story another day. But this was about a hospital manager, nothing specifically related to the vaccine. Of course, if you're a leading expert in the UK and Germany, anywhere in the world, and you came into the US to help solve this vaccine problem and pump all these things out with different types of vaccine, of course you can get an EB1A, right? But how did a hospital manager get an EB1A? And no RFEs, no request for evidence. We filed it and boom, it was approved. We did spend 2 years preparing the case, but it wasn't because the case was super difficult, but because his role was so important back in his home country, his government could not let him leave. So he stayed back in his home country to manage everything. But the moment the government said, good, pandemic's over, then boom, we applied, approved, now he's in. Now let's talk about how we did it. So for this case, we're not concerned about his credentials because he's a well-known author. He advises a lot of the different hospitals across his country. He's pretty famous. But what is he gonna do in the US, right? He's spent his entire life devoted to the healthcare system of a different country, making sure that the pandemic doesn't ravage his country. We wanted to prove that we make sure the US will not suffer this again because it's not a guarantee. We heavily relied on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's research talking about how the US's healthcare system has not improved since pre-pandemic. Bill Gates predicted, this is pre-COVID, that the US will suffer tremendously if there was an epidemic. Well, now there's a second paper talking about, well, the US will still suffer again if there is another pandemic. The US healthcare system is still recovering, still suffering from the ramifications of this pandemic. If there's another one, we will be destroyed. So we heavily relied on that key concept. We demonstrated all things he did in his home country and all the things that he could apply to the US and how he can serve as an advisor to different hospitals. And the truth is, having key influential people who's smart, who have solutions in the country is so important. What if something does happen next year? Having these key experts on standby, part of your national pool of people that you can reach out to, makes a big difference. Now, that was the most difficult part in this entire case. We spent 2 years researching what can he do in the US. And he had his team researching, he had my team researching, and we figured out this is the way to go. We made the argument and then it was accepted. Now, we weren't as worried about the second part on proving how he is extraordinary because he's one of the lead executives managing all the different hospitals in his home country. He's obviously part of a lot of different memberships, including on subcommittees of the cabinet. He won awards of excellence around the country. Especially during COVID, he got a whole bunch of media articles. He played leading critical role in establishing these infrastructures and these hospitals. So there were a lot of things going for this person. But you know what? In preparing this entire case for 2 years, I think I had 2 phone calls with this client because he was so important on a national level. His entire case, we almost had to build completely just from the World Wide Web. Normally, I would tell the client, please get me these things. Well, because he's so important on a national level, he couldn't talk to me and he couldn't get me these things, and I couldn't even talk to his secretary, and it was a national secret. If he's immigrating to the US, he can't let his cabinet, he can't let his friends know. It was top secret, so nobody could know. I couldn't talk to him. What do I do? So we were just Googling him all day. Every time something new comes up, oh yeah, did you know he did this? Let's print it out and include it. And then when the case was ready, we let him see it. Finally, we had a phone call. I explained everything we did. He signed the forms, and then we filed and the case was approved, and now he's here. In doing this case, I learned a lot. I learned how terribly broken our healthcare system is. And even though he's able to apply all of his knowledge and expertise to the US, frankly speaking, it's not gonna solve our healthcare system. But that also means that there's an opportunity for so many other people to apply for the EB1A green card because there's so many things to fix. Maybe you're a healthcare insurance policy manager or an executive, and maybe your insurance policy was able to predict this pandemic and you're able to save an entire country's well-being. Well, you can solve that problem here in the US too. And this is truly a competitive advantage of the United States. Whenever we suffer a problem on a national or a state level, well, that problem opens up an opportunity for experts in other fields to directly come to the US. You just have to spot a problem that you can solve. There was that one news where a hacker hacked Apple and then Apple directly hired him for a high salary. Remember one of the last episodes of The Mandalorian where Luke Skywalker comes out, the young Luke Skywalker, and they CGI the whole thing? Another visual effects person said, well, Disney kind of sucked at doing that, so let me redo it. And he did it so much better, and Disney directly hired him. Remember that? So the United States is kind of like that. Just send us a proposal about what problems we suffer, how you can fix it, and how extraordinary you are, and we'll give you a green card. That's the beautiful thing about the EB1A. This case proves it, and I hope that helps you. Take care. Bye-bye.